All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to continue the idea of having a polygon that is kind of rotating around itself, but now we're going to do it combining a pentagon with a triangle. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I am going to create a regular polygon so that I can create my pentagon. And I'll start by just clicking on my screen here and then across the way here. Now, once that happens, number of vertices, since my main shape is going to be a pentagon, I am going to change this into a 5. Then I go to my arrow key, and I am going to move my shape probably around here, maybe shrink it down slightly so that it fits the way I want. And once I'm happy, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a slider. And the slider that I'm going to create is going to be an angle slider. I still call it T. That's just the easiest way for me. And the biggest change in this particular shape is that it's going to be a measurement of 108. And that's related to the angle measurement within the pentagon. Okay. So I'll press OK. Next thing I'm going to do is I am going to create, let me see here. I want to double check that this is actually where I want it to be. Good. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an angle of given size, and it's basically going to be like this. I need the point and the vertex. Remember, the where it spins, the vertex is always second. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do that from B to A, and I'm going to call that T, so that this takes care of it. And I'll say OK. All right, so I have that there. Now I went from here to here. So I'm just going to do the same pattern all the way up and around. So then that means I'm going to go from here to here. And again, it's going to be called T. Then from here to here, then T. Then from here to here, then T. Keep in mind that I keep doing this from wherever I left off. So that means from here to here, and T. And I just kept it counterclockwise on purpose because I didn't want to change the direction. So I'll say OK. All right. And so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move this around to see what the effect is. Now, where does it land? All right. This is a little bit confusing. So here's the deal. Remember I started from here to here? That meant that this was going to be the spot from which it was going to spin. So that means this point is spinning from here. So if I do it this way to 0, it starts, I'm looking at this point here. Then what's happening is that that's spinning up and around. Okay, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach polygons to that. Regular polygons still. And it's going to go from A to B. I'm going to call that 3. Then I'm going to go from E to A, and it's also 3. Then D to E, and it's 3. Then C to D, and that is 3. And then B to C, then that is 3. All right, so now this is my shape. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to press move. And now this is what I want my shape to look like. I want it to basically switch back and forth. And if I go here, there it is. This is my slider. I'm going to control it here. And this is the effect I want it to have. I want to make it appear as if it's just kind of rotating around itself. But I also want to take advantage of a feature that we used last week, which is my trace feature. Okay, I thought that was actually not such a bad thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very choosy and picky. Let me pause it around here. Now I pause it here and I'm going to think about where I want the trace feature to happen. So look at what I'm about to do. I'm going to go here to my settings tool, right? I'm going to move my shape over a little bit, maybe that much. And here's what I want. I want the point that lands here, which is this one, and the top of the triangle to be the points that are traced. So in this particular triangle, that means it's going to be this one is going to be traced, and so is this. As I come around, this and this and this. And the only reason that it's only those 2 points is because the point here where it rotates is not moving, so it's not going to do much. But these points move away from where they originally started, so therefore they're going to end up actually having a trace point or creating a trace. And then I just double check, make sure I have it. I do. And now press X. I'll kind of put it here. You can see the trace feature is there. There we go. And now I press. Now, once I have this, you're going to notice that there's a certain effect that it creates. Now, the only thing about it is that, well, I like the effect, right? I like what it's doing. My concern is I don't want to see this all the time. So for that, I want to remind you about the clear trace feature. So here's my caption, and I'm going to clear trace. That's the title I'm going to give it. And here is the code for it. Zoom in, capital Z, capital I, and then brackets, one bracket. Square bracket, press OK. And then I go to my arrow feature. I click on clear trace. There we go. And then when this is animated, then I can see how this is creating my shape. A couple of ideas. I don't like the color. I don't like all those letters there, poly here, H there. All that labeling is kind of in the way. It makes my drawing messy. So what I want to do is I want to figure out how I'm going to clean this up. Okay. I also want to create a run button, a stop button, maybe even a reset button. Okay, similar to the last one. All right, so I'll leave that to you. Clear trace, and I'll put it at 0. Clear trace. Now, all of this is kind of the idea for this week to be able to create this object. But I also want you to start thinking about how you're going to use these skills to create your own particular animation. Okay, so based on what we did last week, based on what I'm doing this week, we're going to start combining that for a more complicated project later. All right, and then that's it. All right. If you have any questions, you can always send them to me through Schoology, or you can send them to me basically in an email. All right, bye.